I'd like to call the West Baton Rouge Parish Council meeting to order. Ask everybody to stand for the pledge and make sure all electronic devices are silent. Ask Mr. Jason Manoa to lead us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jason. Come on. Come on. Thank you. Roll call.
We're good. Got a quorum.
And we have a quorum. Item number 4, minutes approval. Approval of the minutes from the January 14th, 2021 meeting. Everybody had a chance to go over them. Got a motion by Mr. Densto, seconded by Mr. Kleinpeter, to approve the minutes from the January 14th meeting. Any questions from the council? Seeing none, the machine is open to vote for approval. Motion passes. Item 5, considering any amendments to the agenda. We have 2. Item A, consider proposed amendment to Resolution 32 of 2020 titled, "A Resolution in Support of the West Baton Rouge Parish Application through the Governor's Office of Community Development for Community Water Enrichment Funds for Water Rehabilitation Projects for the fiscal year 2020-2021. And B, consider proposed amendment to Resolution 34 of 2020 titled, "Resolution Authorizing Parish President to Submit Application through the Office of Community Development, Local Government Assistance Program, LGAP." Do I have a motion to amend the agenda? Got a motion by Mr. Kershaw, seconded by Mr. Gordon to amend the agenda. This does have to be a unanimous vote to amend the agenda. Anybody have any questions? Seeing none, the machine is open to vote for approval. Motion passes. Item 6, Parish President's Report. Mr. Berthelot?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and council members. I know maybe we just forgot, but you know, we had talked about a moment of silence for Mike Gallimore, so
Yeah, I forgot.
if y'all want to do that now,
Yeah.
anybody want to say anything?
Take a moment of silence for the Fire Chief, Mr. Mike Alamo. Thank you. Thank you, Peter.
They are actually, as we speak, they're doing honor guard at Wilbert's Funeral Home in Plaquemine. They can do it from 5 to 8, the honor guard, and then tomorrow they're gonna have a ceremony. They're gonna leave the funeral home at a little before 11 o'clock, I think, around 11. And they have a 12 o'clock mass, but they're gonna actually have the Spirit, that's the truck that the Fire Marshal's office has under its control, and they're gonna put the casket on there. They're gonna bring it down LA1. They're gonna stop and do some little thing on East St. Francis Street, right in front of the old Bruley Fire Station where Mike Alamo served for so many years, and they're gonna let the guys get on the truck, and they're gonna slow roll it to the church, and then I think the mass is from 12 to 1, then the burial after that, and they'll do the last call. I think all that's been taken care of, so if you can make it, you know, I'm sure they would appreciate it. But also I sent you a little thing on Shintech. They're gonna be expanding some work in the Addis plant, so that's good news. So just want to let you know about that. The other thing I got is really these permits. We sold the permits we sell every year to the municipalities, wherever somebody's gonna build a house, you know, they up to a point, and I think Jason's gonna go over all them numbers with you down in his report. I think it may be 2 more items down the agenda. He'll explain those to you. But one thing I wanted Jason to emphasize is that we are losing percentages due to population. Once the census come out, those 2 things gonna sink in, because right now we're still getting a higher percentage on the 10-year census, and so we can end up where it's actually, what he's gonna show you on those sheets is actually be double that if the census both agree and line up in the same place. They don't just take the permits and the population that we think, they also look at the birth and death rate, you know, and so with this COVID, you know, we've been, I don't know, not so much, they just showing about 50 in our parish right now, but actually 49, I think, today. But, you know, we used to have seem like a lot of funerals here lately. But that's all I got, Bobby. Glad to answer your question.
Anybody has any questions for the parish president?
Mr. Pee Wee, I know you mentioned it last meeting, and I had some questions from constituents about the Intracoastal Bridge. I saw that they're doing some work underneath it, trying to, I guess, get some utilities moved. They were asking me as far as, they know that you gave an update, but they're asking, do we have a date as far as when they're going to actually start the Intracoastal?
Well, Louisiana DOTD is actually, that's their project, and they actually considered the job started, and they in the utility relocation phase of it. They actually got our water line, and I think one that belongs to the city, that we hired a contractor, and I think he's just about complete, right? Yeah, and so he's complete on moving our water lines, and they still had the cities and maybe something else. And they were on the north side, they relocated the railroad track and part of that roadway, the Ernest Young Road, whatever they call it, kind of up in that little area. They had moved the tracks over a bit. So that's done. On March the 10th is when they can actually open bids for the construction of the bridge,
Okay.
you know. So it'll be they'll look at it, they'll open bids March the 10th, and I guess they'll probably within the next 30 days, they'll award the project. And then it takes a while for everybody to get their paperwork and stuff in line. And so you're probably looking at about maybe midsummer, they'll start doing some type of construction work.
Okay. And then Highway 1 is still scheduled. I know they were waiting on the weather to kind of warm up. Any update on that?
I talked to Keith Palama, and Keith told me that, you know, they was waiting for the cane season to finish, and so it's finished. And I say, well, we in January, they finished with like a week or so, well, a couple weeks ago, we in January, and he says, well, you know, the winter weather is not conducive to redo all of that work and stuff, so he said they're probably gonna wait a month or two to get some warmer, dry weather to lay that asphalt, so.
Thank you.
But it's coming.
Anybody have any other questions for the parish president? Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Pee Wee. Item 7, public comments. Anybody from the public want to be heard? Seeing none, moving on. Item 8, annual Department of Revenue and Taxation delinquent sales tax report.
Good afternoon.
How are
Melanie
you?
W., Revenue
How you
Department.
doing, Miss
You
Melanie?
who don't remember me from,
Miss Melanie, can you
I-
you move your mask?
oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm so used to keeping
I
this
know.
thing on all the time. I'm not gonna go over the detailed report, but please, if anyone has any questions, I'll be more than happy to go through all of it. Just a few notes. Obviously, last year was kind of challenging. You know, we were redoing a lot of procedures to try and, I guess, work with, you know, businesses being closed, people working from home, that sort of thing. But overall, it seems like it's becoming easier to contact people again. It was difficult for a while, but things are moving right along with that. Also, I had asked Michelle, or I sent Michelle the sales tax monthly collection report. I just kind of wanted to touch on last year's collections. Last year's collections were higher than 2017, 18, and 19. So that's
crazy.
amazing. And then this month, I haven't gone through everything quite yet, but it looks like it's going to be one of the higher months in history for January, so that's
That's
Um,
outstanding.
and I haven't gone through to see if there's something random that shouldn't be there before I distribute it, but it's looking pretty high. So I think, as Mr. Berthelot alluded to, the different people having different plant things going on, and it's showing everywhere. So, good news.
Great deal.
Do you have any questions?
Anybody have any questions? Mr. Kershaw.
Just two small questions.
Okay.
I see you have on your note you gave us, you have the aged balances.
Correct.
2020 is 314,000, and last year, 2019, was 320,000. So I look at that number versus your total collection. So it's less than 1% is what you have uncollected. But before you answer that, I see in your report of delinquent taxes, the only part that was uncollectible for all of 2019 was $5,522. So of the number from last year, 320,000, you collected everything or adjusted the tax, and this was all you had to write off was $5,500?
Okay, so we'll start with the first part.
Okay.
The first part is assessments. What assessments are is, let's say you're Walmart, for instance, and
Well, if I'm Walmart, I'm leaving.
and you don't file your tax return. And let's say the highest return that we have on file for you is $100, which is obviously going to be higher than that from Walmart. What our system does is it does an estimated assessment saying, hey, you forgot to pay your taxes. If you don't pay them or file your return with your actual numbers, then you now owe us 100, I think it's 10% of your highest one in history. You now owe us 110. So the Walmart situation, that's probably pretty close to accurate. But if you have, for instance, an out-of-state company that filed one time and now they forgot to file, we might assess them $20,000, but they actually owe zero.
Okay.
So these assessment numbers aren't real numbers. I mean, they're real numbers, but they're not a true picture of what is owed to the parish. It's a picture of how many people have not been filing their tax returns. So, and especially it comes up with these out-of-state businesses that don't realize when they put monthly that means you have to file a return every month. And then after we talk to them, we can clear the account up, and a lot of times it goes down to zero.
So maybe they should have filed as quarterly, or they're an irregular filer.
Correct. You know, if you have a New York company and they filed one return for one time, or somebody that sold something major to a plant, those are the huge ones. We expect a return, but it's not necessarily that they owe us money. It's because they requested monthly and didn't realize what that was going to do. So these are pretty much, it takes work to get them off the system.
Okay, but
To
that's
be
your
inaccurate.
starting point to try to figure out
That-
which ones you got to work on.
That tells
Okay.
us where we need to start.
Okay.
Okay, so the write-offs, this year, we did not write any accounts off. We don't write accounts off, usually if it's bankruptcy, that's a couple of years old, people that disappear, you can't find them anymore, and usually we wait for them to be kind of aged a little bit, and we'll have liens on them, and sometimes they do come back collectible, but because last year of a lot of, you know, the COVID, a lot of businesses or a lot of difficulty finding people, honestly, we didn't write any off. Not to
Okay.
say that I couldn't find some to write off, but if we write, the ones that we do write off would be people that we know that they actually owe us money. That again, a lot of times it's businesses that just disappear. You
So
can't
really,
find them.
a year from now, we'll be able to tell you about your 2020 accounts that you could not collect.
Correct.
Okay. All right, gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you, Fish. Anyone else have any questions, Ms. Melanie?
Very exciting, I know.
I know. Love it every year. Thank you,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Melanie. Item 9, communications with council members and/or elected or appointed officials. We have one item. A, approve annual sales tax percentage adjustments. Mr. Manola.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All of you should have in your packets, and I know Philip usually presents this to the council. Philip is actually quarantined right now, so I'll be presenting this on his behalf, but this is something that Philip actually puts together. As you guys know, we got two separate sales tax propositions. One is adjusted every 10 years with the census. The other one is an annual adjustment made by us with using building permits and occupancy for more multifamily type units, such as apartments. We assume in these apartment complexes and things like that, we assume an 80% occupancy. So that's one assumption we make. The other assumption we make is for any building permit, we include a household of 2.5. These are two assumptions that we make coming up with these. If you look at the reports, the one that says adjusted through December 31st, 2020, this will be for the 2021 allocation of the taxes. If you go down all the way to the bottom, you'll see that the percent gain or loss, as you can see, the parish lost 4.41%. That's based on the 2010 census information. So that's what the parish, you can see it was 52.24% of the total population. Now, based on our estimates over the last 10 years, is 47.83. So you can see Port Allen also 3.97% down from 2010. Brewley down a little less than 1%, and Addis is picking up 9.35% based on the 2010 census. Right below that, you'll see the dollar impact. That's the annual impact and reduced amount of allocation. That's based on the previous year collections, sales tax. You can see, just for the parish purposes, it means $116,855 less in taxes that will be allocated to the parish based on these formulas. Now, like the parish president mentioned earlier, 116, that's bad enough, but remember, the 2020 census comes out, both of these get reset to the 2020 census. So if we're accurate or we're close with this 116,000, when the 2020 comes out, you can double that, because both of them will be reset to the 2020 census information. So just wanted to give y'all this information. Again, y'all have to approve the adjusted amounts going forward. But in the past, just a little historical, in the past, used to have Louisiana Tech used to do these for us. LSU did them for a while for us, but the problem we used to run into is that they would seek permits from the municipalities and kind of back into the parish's numbers. So they would just assume the municipalities grew at a certain rate, and then the parish, they wouldn't even pull permits for us. So in order to be more equitable and more accurate, Philip started doing it within total parish and the municipalities permits. So unless anybody has any questions on that, I'd be glad to try and answer them for you. Anybody?
Anybody have any questions? Mr.
You
Kershaw?
know I'm gonna ask her a question.
Yep. When it
All
comes to these
right,
taxes.
Jason, so
Yes.
this is the same format we've used every year for
That's
the
correct.
last 10 years, right?
I think at the beginning.
Other than who did it?
Right, yes, the same.
La Tech or LSU?
Correct.
Okay, so the first one, the one on the top, that's your 1% that's locked in for the 10 years. That number doesn't move,
Correct.
right? Okay. And then each year, you give us a new number at the bottom for the other 1%.
That's correct.
Okay. My question is, and I'm just going to use Brewley because it's at 9.91% at the end of 2020.
Correct.
Projected 2020. Okay.
Correct.
Let's call that 10, just so we can,
Okay,
okay. Suppose the 2020 actual census comes out and Brewley's number recalculates and they're at 12%.
gonna get adjusted to the actual 2020 census.
It will get adjusted to the 2020 going forward. My question is there any retro back? Because we're adjusting this now.
Yeah,
And, I mean, if you're gonna adjust somebody up, you're gonna adjust somebody down.
yeah.
So,
We've never done the retro, and typically, I mean, y'all all have seen it on the news, they're talking about potential delay in the releasing
Right.
of the 2020 census information. So I don't know that, I mean, these taxes have already been distributed to folks, so I don't know that you could retroactively, I wouldn't suggest going and change, unless it's a big swing. I mean, if
Well-
it comes into, then we'll have to have a conversation with the municipality saying, hey,
the one that it seems like to me is the most concerning is Addis at 7,300 people, which is
Correct.
24.45%, so that's at 24.5%. If they come in some significant, just because, maybe it's not 2.5 people, maybe it's 2.1 people, which
Right.
on that many people is gonna affect it a good bit.
Correct.
So, they could be up or down, they might be short, I don't know, I'm just saying, we've never, since I've been up here, adjusted it back.
No,
But-
retroactively, no.
Yeah.
We know. we
So
never
you're
have.
saying when
I think
we're
it-
going with these numbers and
We're going with it.
and we'll be able to
until-
tell as soon as we get them how close they are.
Correct.
Okay.
And if it's, like I said, if it's a, I'm gonna use an accounting term, if it's a material difference between the two, then there may have to be some additional conversations with the municipalities, say, hey, you know, we were giving our best guess estimate, but
Right.
it's,
Okay.
it should be X instead of Y.
Okay.
Right.
I just don't want to take that off the table from
Yeah.
anybody
Right,
if it's a big number.
correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kershaw. Anybody else have any questions, Ms. Manola?
Thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you, Jason. Do I have a motion to approve the sales tax percentage adjustments? I got a motion by Mr. Kershaw, seconded by Mr. Joseph to approve. Is there any more questions from the council on this? Seeing none, the machine is open to vote for approval. Motion passes. Item number 10, public hearing on previously introduced ordinances, and we don't have any tonight. Item 11, introduction of ordinances, and Ms. Michelle, you want to read those tonight?
An ordinance amending chapter 104 zoning to incorporate amended zoning designation map zoning plan under section 104-3 establishment of districts, official zoning map for rezoning request of Clyde Ewan, file 2020-01 located at, I'm sorry, that probably should be 2021-01, located at 9268 Highway 190 West, Port Allen, Louisiana 70767, tract E1 containing 2.22 acres, tract E2 containing 2.19 acres, tract E3 containing 2.19 acres, tract E4A containing 85.284 acres, southeast quarter, section 28 T6S R11E, West Baton Rouge Parish, rezoning from RSF3 residential to POSC RV campground and residential minor. This would be a master plan change, and that public hearing date's March 11th, 2021. B, an ordinance amending chapter 104 zoning to incorporate amended zoning designation map zoning plan under section 104-3 establishment of districts, official zoning map for rezoning request of Bagwell Holdings LLC located at 5450 South Lake Drive, Port Allen, Louisiana 70767, file number 2021-02, as described by the West Baton Rouge assessor as tract Y1B containing 11.31 acres in sections 18 T7S R12E, rezoning from RSF3 residential single family to RM residential minor. Public hearing date March 11th, 2021.
Thank you, Ms. Michelle. Item 12, consider status report change order and/or other matters as required on current projects. Ms. Manola.
Just give you a couple of quick updates, just so everybody knows, next Tuesday, February 2nd, February 2nd, at the Addis Community Center, Oshner will be doing COVID testing. They've been having, that is a testing site that they've been using, so I want to let everyone know. Theirs is not what they call the rapid test. I think theirs is like a 48-hour turnaround or something like that, but next Tuesday, February 2nd. And just one
What
other.
times? Times? What
9,
time?
I'm sorry, 9 to 3,
9
9 a.m. to 3. And then the 2021 road overlay bid packages are being put together by PEC now. Again, the bid packages go out. We have to, of course, we'll come before the council again when they want to award the bid, but just kind of giving you a heads up, we're going ahead and getting the bid packets and everything pulled together, and that's done through PEC, which is our engineering firm for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, the advertisement and all that takes place.
Tom Peter?
Mr. Manola, you mentioned COVID. You got any update on the vaccines?
We have applied, again, we've been applying every week. I know there's still Walmart and Walgreens in the parish are giving them. They have lists that people can call in to sign up. Anybody that's calling us and asking us, we'll also tell them they may want to speak directly with their primary care physician, because a lot of times they can get them in if they reach the criteria, being 70 or older. They can get them in with whoever their affiliated group. Some of them are affiliated with the Baton Rouge General, some, Oshner or so forth. But we're, like I said, as soon as they come out, we're gonna hit a press release to you guys when we know we're gonna have them in hand. But we're still moving forward with it. But I am glad to see that there is 2 locations now in our parish, at least 2 locations that are giving them out at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Jason? Thank you. Item 13, resolutions. Consider proposed amendment to Resolution 32 of 2020 titled, "A Resolution in Support of the West Baton Rouge Parish Application to the Governor's Office of Community Development for Community Water Enrichment Funds for the Water Rehabilitation Project for the fiscal year 2020 to 2021." Mr. Adrian?
Yes, Council, just real quick, this is a little housekeeping. We're just asking for a little resolution text change that you guys adopted in the December meeting. And both items, A and B, we're just asking that under the CWEF, the Community Water Enrichment Fund, that, and I think you probably see in your packet, I think you have some copies. We just want that resolution to read the funding to upgrade the 2-inch water line to the 8-inch water line on River Oaks and Bruley, and upgrade the 2-inch water line to a 4-inch water line on Cons Road, and purchase the 5 automated flush valves for brown water infusion. And that's under the CWEF. And we just simply want the LGAP resolution to read for funding for the removal and the reinstallation of the baffle curtains of the Lukeville wastewater treatment oxidation pond, which we actually opened bids on last week, and the bids actually came in at $68,000 for that with the low bid. So the funding for LGAP is $58,800, so we can get a lot of that paid for through LGAP. So it's just more of a text change on the resolutions, and that has to be actually turned in by tomorrow, and I think Ms. Murray's going to handle that for us.
Thank you, Mr. Adrian.
Okay.
So we got to take these up separate. Do I have a motion to approve item A? Got a motion by Mr. Klein Peter, seconded by Mr. Dinstal, to approve item A. Any questions from the council on this? Any questions? Seeing none, the machine is open to vote for approval. Motion passes. Item B, consider proposed amendment to Resolution 34 of 2020 titled, "Resolution Authorizing Parish President to Submit Application through the Office of Community Development Local Government Assistance Program, LGAP." And as Mr. Adrian just said, this is for item B on this one. Got a motion by Mr. Walker, seconded by Mr. Kershaw to approve. Are there any questions on this? Seeing none, the machine is open to vote for approval. Motion passes. Item 14, consider subdivision plats, condemnations, waivers, and matters related thereto, and we have none tonight. And item 15, executive session to discuss the following litigation involving the West Baton Rouge Parish Council, West Baton Rouge Parish Council versus Joseph Garden Touye Sr., ETAL Court of Appeal, First Circuit docket number 2018-CA-1772. I need a motion to go into an executive session. Got a motion by Mr. Klein Peter, seconded by Mr. Garden. Any questions? Seeing none, the machine is open to vote to go in executive session. Motion passes.
We gonna go in there?
Staying here? Staying here?
Nobody else in here?
Right. Turn the video off.
Yeah, let's just go.
Yeah, because I'll have to turn all the recorders.
Yeah, we gotta
and
turn
video and
everything off.
everything. Yeah.
We can space out in there. You can't come. I don't think he heard you.
Hey, you make sure the TV's off out there?
Hmm?
You don't want to just go in there so we ain't gotta turn all this off? Don't we
Well,
gotta turn?
yeah, 'cause we can't have.
Yeah, y'all can go right there.
Yeah, we're
Conference
going.
room, that way we don't have to turn everything off.
Then you can stay.
Yeah, they're gonna go in the conference room, Brianna, you can just wait. They're going in there, yeah. Oh. Look, I hang mine from my neck and I still forget it.
I know.
to go out of executive session. Hold your horses. Hey, what you got hanging on that mask? Huh?
That's that little hook.
Oh, all right. For real, I couldn't see. It looked like I don't know what it was.
You wanna raise a motion?
You can. So I have a motion by Mr. Klein Peter to exit executive session, seconded by Mr. Densto. Mr. Gardner. Get Mr. Gardner in here. Oh, he was right.
He's in there talking to Lou, I think.
Grab it, grab it. Tell me he's got a vote. So a motion by Mr. Klein Peter to exit executive session, seconded by Mr. Densto. There any question on this from the council? Seeing none, the machine is open to vote for approval. Motion passes. Good. Item 16, correspondence report.
Yes, sir.
Michelle?
The next, we actually have a Board of Adjustments meeting coming up on Tuesday, February 2nd at 5 p.m. The next Planning and Zoning meeting is February 2nd, also at 5:30, and our next Parish Council meeting will be Thursday, February 11th at 5:30 p.m.
That'll work. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn. Thank you. Adios. Okay, let's go.